Stop worrying about everything. Yes, I say it again, stop worrying about everything. Life has a way of bending, twisting, and turning, and yet we insist on carrying the burden of what if every shadow that has not yet even crossed our path. We wake up in the morning, and the mind is already racing ahead, imagining disasters that may never come. We walk through our days as if we are carrying a suitcase of stones, each one a fear, a doubt, a worry. But hear me when I say this: the heart was never meant to be a stone vault, and the mind was never meant to be a battlefield. There is a freedom waiting for you if you can only let go. The first thing you must understand is that worry is a thief. It steals the sunlight from your morning and the calm from your night. It lingers in your chest like smoke in a room, invisible yet suffocating. You may tell yourself that worry keeps you prepared, that it is a form of caution. But I assure you, no one ever won life by fretting over the storms that have not yet arrived. The storms will come, yes. The rains will fall, the winds will blow, and the earth may tremble beneath your feet. But you cannot walk through the tempest if your body is already weighed down with fear. To be happy every day, you must first release the weight of worry. Let us speak frankly about fear, for worry and fear are cousins who dance together in the shadows. Fear whispers in the quiet moments, telling you that you are not enough, that the world is too large, that you will fail. And so, you imagine the worst, rehearsing tragedy after tragedy, as if by preparing you can ward it off. But the truth is, fear is only a shadow, a trickster that grows larger the more you look at it. Turn your gaze elsewhere. Look at the faces of those you love. Look at the trees, the clouds, the sun as it rises and sets. Look at your own hands capable of creation, of care, of courage. There is your proof that life is not as dangerous as fear would have you believe. Consider for a moment the lives of people you admire, those who walk this earth with dignity, with grace, with laughter in the face of despair. Did they waste their hours worrying? No. They understood that life, in all its beauty and chaos, is fleeting. They understood that happiness is not a prize to be won at the end of suffering, but a choice to be made in the midst of it. And so they laughed, they loved, they embraced the world with open hearts, even when it seemed cruel. And that, my friends, is what we must learn. Happiness is not something that waits for permission. Happiness is not something that asks whether it is safe to exist. Happiness is something you claim for yourself, moment by moment, breath by breath. I have walked roads of sorrow, streets of doubt, and valleys of despair. I have known nights when the darkness pressed so close that it seemed to whisper lies into my ears. Yet, even then, I discovered small moments of joy. A child's laughter across a busy street. The smell of rain on dry earth. The first sip of water when the throat is parched. The gentle words of a friend who believes in you. These moments, small as they seem, are the treasures of life. If you train your eyes to see them, you will find that worry begins to lose its grip. For worry thrives in the absence of beauty, in the spaces where the heart feels empty. Fill your life with gratitude, with awareness, with love, and you will find worry fleeing like a shadow at dawn. Do not mistake this advice for a dismissal of responsibility. To live without worry does not mean to live without care. Life requires diligence, effort, and discernment, but the difference lies in where you place your energy. Do not spend it imagining what could go wrong. Spend it tending to what you can nurture. Water your dreams, feed your passions, speak kindness into the world, and act with integrity. The rest, the things beyond your control, are not yours to carry. Let them go. Let them go as you would release a bird into the sky, watching it soar higher than you ever imagined. I want to tell you about a woman I once knew. She lived in a small town, surrounded by hills that rolled like waves frozen in time. She woke every morning to the same sun, the same streets, the same people. And yet, she was not content. She worried endlessly. about her children, about her husband, about the neighbors, about the world. One day she fell ill, not physically, but spiritually. She realized that all the hours she spent in fear had stolen her life. In that moment she made a choice. She began to walk differently. She greeted the morning with a smile. She danced with her children in the kitchen. She sang to the trees as if they were old friends. And slowly, imperceptibly, the world changed, not the world itself, but her perception of it. She had learned the secret that so many of us forget: happiness is not outside you. Happiness is within you, waiting to be awakened by the simple choice to live fully, to be present, to love without reservation. You may ask, what about my troubles? What about my pain? I answer, do not run from them, do not deny them, do not allow them to be rulers of your spirit. Acknowledge them, sit with them, speak to them honestly, and then let them go. Like water over stones, life flows forward. The pain you carry today is not permanent. The mistakes you fear will define you are not forever. The worries that fill your nights are not prophecies, but echoes of uncertainty. Treat them as such. Place them in their proper place and step into the sunlight. Happiness, my friends, is not a distant shore. It is not a luxury reserved for the few. It is not an event to be scheduled on the calendar of your life. Happiness is the very act of living. It is in the morning light that kisses your face. It is in the deep breath you take when you feel alive. It is in the laughter that bubbles up unbidden, in the song that escapes your lips when no one is listening. It is in kindness, in service, in the gentle courage of being yourself fully and unapologetically. When you stop worrying about everything, you make room for this life. You make space for wonder, for possibility, for joy. Think, if you will, of the birds in the sky. They do not fret over the storms, nor do they mourn the passing of the sun. They fly with the wind, trusting it to carry them. They rise and fall, but always they move forward. There is a lesson there if we will see it. Trust life, trust yourself, trust the goodness that exists even in small, quiet places. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Release the fear that whispers that the world is unsafe, and you will find your spirit lighter, your heart freer. And remember, happiness is contagious. When you choose to release worry and embrace joy, you do more than transform your own life. You change the lives of those around you. A smile, a kind word, a gesture of generosity, a laugh shared, a hand held in silence. They ripple outward in ways you cannot always see. You may think your joy is a small flame, but in truth it is a lighthouse, guiding others through the darkness. And in that you become a force more powerful than any fear, more enduring than any worry. I urge you to live as if today is a gift, because it is. Do not spend its hours chained to fear, nor its minutes buried under doubt. Move with intention, with awareness, with gratitude. Speak to yourself kindly, for you are worthy of the same love you give so freely to others. Dance in your kitchen, sing to your shower, run through the rain, hug without hesitation. These are not trivial acts. They are acts of rebellion against a world that would have you anxious, constrained, small. They are the acts that remind your soul that it is alive, that it belongs to no one, that it is free. And when life brings sorrow, and it will, do not despair. Even in grief, there is a seed of joy, a glimmer of hope. Even in loss, there is love remembered, lessons learned, strength gained. Do not allow worry to make you blind to these truths. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and remember that life, in all its complexity, is meant to be savored, not feared. You see, the heart has an extraordinary capacity for resilience. It can endure hardships, survive storms, and yet still beat with joy. It can forgive betrayals, mend brokenness, and still sing with hope. It can hold sorrow and love simultaneously, and in doing so, it discovers its own vastness. Do not underestimate the power of your heart. Do not let worry shrink it, nor let fear confine it. Give your heart the freedom it deserves, and it will show you the beauty of living without constant fear. Stop worrying about everything and begin noticing. Notice the colors in the sky, the laughter of children, the tenderness of a shared glance. Notice the rhythm of your own heartbeat, the gift of breath, the miracle of simply being alive. When you focus on these things, worry loses its voice, and happiness speaks clearly. And then every day you will discover that happiness is not a fleeting visitor. It is a resident, a companion walking beside you, guiding you, and celebrating with you. There will always be challenges. There will always be trials. But your choice, your decision to live with joy, is the greatest victory. It is a declaration to the world that you refuse to be enslaved by fear, that you will embrace life with open arms, and that you understand the truth each day is precious, and happiness is a gift you can give yourself starting now in this moment. So, my friends, I leave you with this truth: stop worrying about everything. Take a deep breath. Feel the life inside you and smile. Laugh freely, love openly, walk boldly, and above all, be happy every day. Life is too short to carry what was never yours to bear. How often do we walk through our days with burdens that are not ours, with shadows cast upon our hearts by the expectations of others, by the imagined judgments of strangers, by the echoes of the past that were never meant to haunt us. We pick up worry as though it were a necessity, and yet it is a weight that crushes our spirit and bends our backs. We carry the grief of others as if it is our own. We absorb their anger, their bitterness, their fear, and we allow it to become a permanent part of our own existence. And all the while, life, this miraculous, fleeting, radiant life, moves on around us, asking only that we rise into our own freedom, that we allow ourselves to walk unburdened, that we recognize that the chains we carry may not belong to us at all. It is so easy to believe that we must carry everything, to feel responsible for the happiness, the pain, the failures, the disappointments, the insecurities of everyone we meet. We assume the weight of family expectations, of friendships, of colleagues, of society itself, and we fold it neatly into the small space we inhabit in the world, not realizing that each unnecessary burden takes a piece of our joy, a fragment of our peace, a slice of our ability to simply breathe. And sometimes the heaviest burden of all is the one we carry for ourselves, the imagined mistakes, the regrets, the self-recriminations, what could have been, and if only I had. Life whispers to us that we must hold it all, yet life is not a container built to withstand endless worry. Life is a river flowing, moving, shifting, inviting us to release, to let go, to float, to move with the current rather than against it. There is a certain courage required in recognizing what is not ours to bear. It is not weakness to step back. It is not abandonment to release the load that belongs to another. To do so requires a sharp eye and a tender heart, a wisdom that sees the difference between what we can influence and what we cannot. It is the knowledge that someone else's unhappiness does not have to become our prison, that the opinions of those who do not understand us are not laws that govern our lives, that the disappointments of the past are not chains that tether us forever. It is a lesson learned over time, often through the slow unraveling of exhaustion, through nights spent carrying invisible weights, until the body and the soul cry out for mercy, for relief, for a chance to simply exist without the constant pull of burdens that never belonged to us in the first place. Think, for a moment, of the people who have walked through the fire of life and emerged lighter, freer, unbound. What they have in common is not perfection, it is the refusal to be weighed down unnecessarily. They have understood that the world is not meant to be carried on your back, that no human heart is designed to hold the entirety of another's grief, and that joy is impossible when your hands are full of things you were never meant to hold. There is liberation in this understanding, a quiet, undeniable power in letting go. in choosing to focus on what nourishes the soul rather than what drains it, in placing your energy where it belongs, on living fully, on loving deeply, on embracing the fleeting, precious moments that make up the tapestry of life. We must learn to recognize the difference between responsibility and unnecessary weight. Responsibility is the soil in which our character grows. It is tending to our own dreams, our own actions, our own commitments. But unnecessary weight is the soil that will never yield anything but fatigue, frustration, and sorrow. It is the mistakes of others, the grudges of strangers, the judgments passed down through generations that have no claim on our hearts. We may feel obligated, we may feel guilty, but none of it belongs to us. None of it is ours to carry. And yet so often we clutch it tightly, as though our survival depends on holding it close, when in truth our survival, our flourishing, depends on the opposite. We must open our hands. We must release, we must allow life to lift us gently rather than dragging us down. Consider the physical weight of worry, of unnecessary burdens. Imagine each thought that does not belong to you, each resentment that is not yours, each fear that was planted by someone else, as a stone in a bag you carry on your back. Now imagine walking miles and miles with that bag strapped to your shoulders, with every step heavier than the last, with your muscles aching, your lungs burning, your spirit bowed under the load. And then imagine dropping the bag. Imagine setting it gently on the ground, looking at it without shame, and walking forward with nothing but your own heartbeat, your own breath, your own feet guiding you. That is the freedom that comes when you recognize that life is too short to carry what was never yours to bear. And yet we are taught subtly, almost imperceptibly, to carry everything. We are taught that our worth is measured by how much we endure, how much we sacrifice, how much we absorb. But let me tell you this. The measure of your worth is not in how many burdens you carry, but in how fully you live, in how courageously you embrace joy, in how gracefully you release what is not yours. The heart that learns this is a heart that can soar, that can love without fear, that can meet life with an open chest and open arms. The mind that learns this is a mind that can think clearly, that can act decisively, that can see the beauty and possibility in every situation, rather than being clouded by worries that belong to someone else. There is a rhythm to life, a pulse that flows through each of us, and it cannot beat freely if it is trapped under the weight of borrowed grief. To carry what is not ours is to silence that rhythm, to slow our steps, to cloud our vision. But when we release, when we consciously choose to set down what was never meant to be held, the rhythm returns. We move with a lightness of being that allows us to notice the small miracles, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the laughter of children, the gentle murmur of a river, the kindness of a stranger, the quiet victory of simply being alive. These are the things that life asks us to carry, the things that fill our hearts rather than empty them, the things that allow us to dance even in times of trial. Life is too short for worry, for guilt, for carrying the weight of burdens that were never ours to shoulder. Every day spent clutching the unnecessary is a day lost, a day when joy is deferred, a day when the spirit cannot breathe freely. And so we must practice the art of release, the skill of discernment, the courage of self-preservation that is not selfish but necessary. We must remind ourselves over and over that our energy is precious, that our time is limited, that our hearts are fragile yet resilient. We must choose carefully what we hold, what we nurture, what we allow to define our days. And in doing so, we discover the freedom that has always been ours to claim, the serenity that flows when the soul is unburdened, the happiness that emerges naturally when we stop carrying what was never ours to bear, choose presence over anxiety. The present is where life truly lives. How often do we wander through our days as if sleepwalking, as if caught between what has already happened and what may or may not happen? The mind races, a relentless river that refuses to rest, pulling us upstream into worries, fears, and the ghosts of mistakes past. We speak, we act, we move, yet our attention is elsewhere. We are in a meeting, but our thoughts drift to the endless tasks that await us at home. We are at the table with loved ones, but our mind lingers on past arguments, imagined slights, or imagined failures. We inhabit our bodies, yet our spirits are absent, as though life itself is passing by, and we have been invited but failed to show up. To choose presence is to insist, boldly and tenderly, that life cannot be postponed, that joy cannot be delayed, that love cannot wait. Presence is the courage to look around and see the details, the light catching on a leaf, the rhythm of a friend's laughter, the subtle expressions on a child's face, the hum of the wind, the pulse of your own heartbeat. Presence is noticing the way the world moves, and allowing yourself to move within it without distraction, without anticipation, without regret. It is to let go of the stories the mind wants to tell, the endless rehearsals of disasters and what-ifs, and to simply be here, fully, in this singular moment, in this heartbeat of existence. Anxiety is an insidious thief. It disguises itself as preparation, as prudence, as awareness, but it is nothing more than a shadow, a fog that obscures the beauty of the present. It whispers of dangers that have not arrived, of losses that may never come, of judgments that may never be spoken. It convinces you that by thinking constantly of the future, you are protecting yourself, when in truth it steals from you the only thing that truly belongs to you now. And so we must fight gently, persistently, to reclaim our time, to reclaim our moments, to reclaim the sacred space where life unfolds. Each time we notice the mind wandering into fear or regret, we bring it back to the present, reminding ourselves that this moment, right here, is where our power lies, where our choices matter, where our capacity for happiness begins. Being present is not simply an exercise in mindfulness, it is an act of courage. It is daring to meet life without the shield of preoccupation, without the armor of worry. It is opening your eyes and your heart to whatever exists, unfiltered, unedited, unjudged. It is feeling the sunlight on your skin even when the storm is coming. It is listening to the voice of a friend even when your own thoughts are noisy. It is tasting your food, touching the fabric of your clothes, breathing fully, noticing fully, inhabiting fully. Presence is not passive, it is active, intentional, a declaration that you will not allow the illusions of fear to rob you of the only reality that exists. Consider the lives of those who have mastered this art, who have learned to live in the moment with grace and resilience. They are not devoid of worries, nor are they untouched by challenges, but they have cultivated a sacred discipline of returning to the now. They savor the small victories. They greet each day with awareness. They notice the extraordinary within the ordinary. They understand that time is a river, and that trying to control the current only leads to struggle and sorrow. Instead, they choose to float, to move with the rhythm of life, to dance with the ever-changing currents rather than against them. And in that choice, they discover freedom, clarity, and the deep, sustaining joy that comes from being fully alive in the only place life can ever be experienced in this very moment. Anxiety, on the other hand, is a distraction. It pulls you into a parallel world where the mind dictates reality, where shadows are mistaken for facts, where the imagination becomes a cage. It is easy to become trapped there, to mistake worry for wisdom, to confuse constant planning for control. Yet the present is always waiting, always patient, always ready to receive you if you will only step into it. It does not judge the hours you have lost in fear. It simply offers itself again, this heartbeat, this breath, this glance, this step, this word, this gesture. Presence is the reclamation of life from the tyranny of the anxious mind, the return to the rhythm that belongs to the heart rather than the imagination. To choose presence is to cultivate awareness of your own being. It is to notice the rise and fall of your chest with each breath, the strength in your legs, the warmth of your hands, the clarity of your vision. It is to listen without immediately reacting, to watch without immediately judging, to feel without immediately resisting. It is to create space between stimulus and response, between thought and action, so that your life is guided by intention rather than fear. Presence allows you to meet others with empathy, to see the fullness of their expression, to hear the unspoken, to connect deeply without the distortion of worry. It allows you to meet yourself with compassion, to recognize your mistakes without condemnation, to honor your growth without anxiety, to love the person you are in this very instant without delay or apology. There is power in choosing presence. It is the power to notice opportunity, to recognize beauty, to experience love, to respond with clarity rather than reflex. It is the power to act with courage because you are not clouded by imagined threats. It is the power to forgive, to release, to move on, because you are anchored in what is true rather than what might be. It is the power to find joy in ordinary moments, to laugh at small absurdities, to smile at simple kindnesses, to rest in quiet reflection. And each time you return to presence, you strengthen this power until it becomes second nature, until it becomes the lens through which you view the world, until it becomes your way of walking through life unafraid, unburdened, alive. Notice how easily life passes when we are not present. The days blend together, the hours vanish, the seasons shift, and we are left wondering where it all went. Yet in every moment there is richness, there is texture, there is depth. There is the potential for love, for insight, for wonder, for creation. There is the chance to say the words that matter, to hold the hands that need holding, to offer comfort, to extend joy, to witness life with full attention. And it is only in presence that these possibilities can unfold. Only in the now that life can be fully experienced. Only in each breath that the heart can truly feel alive. Presence is also a gift to others. When we are truly here, fully attentive, fully engaged, we honor the people around us. We give them our attention, our care, our respect. We become conduits for connection, for empathy, for understanding. We allow conversations to deepen, relationships to flourish, and love to expand. We show by our being that they are seen, that they are valued, that their existence matters. And in that way, choosing presence becomes an act of generosity, a way of spreading light in a world that is so often clouded by distraction, by worry, by the unrelenting chase of imagined fears. And so to choose presence over anxiety is not merely a suggestion, it is a necessity. It is an invitation to reclaim life from the tyranny of what-ifs and maybes. It is a declaration that you will not surrender your days to fear, that you will embrace each moment with awareness, that you will meet yourself and the world fully and without hesitation. Presence teaches us patience, teaches us gratitude, teaches us humility, teaches us joy. It allows us to see that happiness is not a distant horizon, not a goal to be achieved after endless struggle, but a companion available to us in every heartbeat, in every glance, in every breath, in every step we take. Life in all its brilliance and complexity cannot be lived in the past, nor in the future, nor in the shadows of anxiety. It is here, in this room, in this street, in this garden, in this office, in this kitchen, in this quiet moment, in this laughter, in this sigh, in this breath. And when we choose presence, we open ourselves to life fully. We allow our hearts to expand, our minds to quiet, our spirits to soar. We find that we are capable of more than we imagined, that we are stronger than our fears, that we are richer than our worries, and that the world is infinitely more beautiful when we are awake to it. Fully, completely, gloriously let go, breathe deep, and allow your spirit to soar freely. How often do we hold ourselves tight, clutching the invisible ropes of fear, doubt, and expectation, as if our survival depended on grasping them firmly. We clutch mistakes we have made, words we wish we could take back, opportunities we fear we missed, and grievances we imagine will never be forgiven. We wrap ourselves in these invisible chains, believing that holding on will somehow protect us, when in truth it only suffocates the light within, only stifles the music of our soul, only silences the gentle whispers of joy that are always trying to speak. And yet, it is so simple to begin to let go, to breathe deeply, and to remind ourselves that the sky is wide, the wind is free, and the spirit was never meant to be contained. To let go is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is the deliberate act of recognizing that some things are beyond your control, that some weights were never yours to carry, that some fears are illusions crafted by the mind to keep you small. Letting go is the courage to release what no longer serves you, to unclench your fists from the things that bind you, and to allow your energy to return to its rightful place. Your own body, your own heart, your own life. It is the conscious choice to step out of the shadows of regret and anxiety, and to step into the sunlight of possibility, into the open air where the spirit can stretch its wings and lift itself toward the boundless sky. Breathe deep. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest, filling the hollow places that have been empty for far too long. Notice the rhythm of your inhalation, the rhythm of your exhalation. There is power in this simple act, a power that reminds you that you are alive, that you have been granted this moment, this breath, this chance to experience the beauty of living fully. Each breath is a drumbeat of life, a reminder that even when the world seems chaotic, even when storms rage, even when sorrows press close, you have a place of calm within yourself to return to, a place that cannot be shaken by circumstance, a place that is always ready to restore you. Allow your spirit to soar freely. There is no cage that can contain it except the one you build yourself. Too often we believe that the rules of the world, the expectations of others, the limitations of circumstance, define what is possible for us. We shrink, we bend, we hide our true selves, and the spirit sighs, longing for the open sky. To soar is to claim your birthright as a creature of freedom, a being capable of love, creativity, and joy. It is to rise above the noise, above the judgments, above the fears, and to find the expanse within where nothing can hold you down. To soar freely is to honor yourself, to honor life, to honor the spark that exists uniquely in you and in no other person. There is a rhythm to letting go, a rhythm to breathing deeply, a rhythm to the flight of the spirit. It begins with recognition, seeing clearly what you have been carrying, naming it, acknowledging it, and offering it release. There is a sacredness in this act. It is not casual or trivial. It is the ritual of reclaiming yourself from the weight of the past, from the clutter of anxieties, from the grasp of expectations that do not belong to you. And as you release, you make room for the air, for the light, for the music that has always waited for your attention. The spirit, once unshackled, begins to move with its own rhythm, dancing and twirling with a joy that was always present but long denied. Breathing deeply teaches patience, teaches grounding, teaches presence. When we breathe fully, we are reminded of the continuity of life, the unbroken thread that connects us to everything else. The air flows through us, the heart beats within us, and we realize that there is a wisdom in the body, a guidance in the rhythm of breath that can calm the storm of the mind. With each inhale, take in courage, clarity, love. With each exhale, release doubt, fear, resentment. Let it go, allow it to leave you, and feel the lightness that comes when burdens are released. There is an alchemy in this, a transformation that occurs when the body, mind, and spirit align in this simple yet profound act of breathing, releasing, and receiving. To soar freely is to embrace your true nature, to honor the divinity within you, to acknowledge that you are capable of heights you may never have imagined. The spirit is not limited by circumstance, by what others think, by what seems possible on the surface. It is limitless, expansive, radiant. It asks only that you give it space, that you provide it the freedom to move, to express, to explore, to rise above the petty confines of fear. And when you allow this, life itself seems to open up, the air itself seems lighter, the sun itself seems brighter, and every moment becomes imbued with possibility. Letting go is also an act of trust. It is trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in the unfolding of events that you may not yet understand. It is knowing that you cannot control everything, and that trying to do so only binds you tighter, only limits your experience, only stifles your potential. When you release, you place your faith not in rigid certainty, but in the natural flow of life, in the intelligence of the universe, in the unseen hands that guide the seasons, the tides, the growth of the smallest flower and the tallest tree. There is a humility in this act, a recognition that while you are powerful, you are also part of something larger, something that contains wisdom and beauty far beyond your comprehension, and that by letting go, you align yourself with it. Breathing deeply also cultivates presence, the awareness that you are alive right now, that this moment is real, that the world is unfolding around you, and you are here to witness it. Presence allows the spirit to soar, because it unhooks the mind from the endless chatter of worry and regret. Presence is the anchor that holds you steady even as you rise, the stillness beneath the wings, the quiet from which freedom emerges. When you are present, every glance, every touch, every sound, every sensation becomes a portal into the richness of life, and the spirit finds joy in the simplicity of being fully here. There is an art to soaring, an art to moving with grace rather than struggle, with openness rather than resistance, with lightness rather than burden. To soar freely is to embrace curiosity, to follow inspiration, to honor your passions without apology, to dance with your gifts and your talents, to let creativity flow unhindered. It is to reject the smallness that society often imposes, to reject the limitations others place on you, and to claim the vastness that exists inside. To soar is to know that the sky is not a boundary but a canvas, not a prison but a playground, not a challenge but an invitation, and that your spirit, once freed, is capable of reaching heights you may never have dreamed of. Letting go, breathing deeply, and allowing your spirit to soar freely is a practice, a discipline, a choice repeated again and again. Each day offers opportunities to release what weighs you down, to inhale courage, to exhale fear, to expand your heart, to lift your soul. Each moment asks for your attention, your willingness, your openness. It is not always easy. Sometimes fear whispers, sometimes doubt returns, sometimes the pull of old habits tries to chain you once more. And yet, with each conscious choice to let go, with each deep breath taken in awareness, with each act of releasing and rising, the spirit grows stronger, lighter, more radiant, more capable of living fully, more capable of embracing the beauty and abundance that exists all around.